Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Akash Thing. So today we are going to continue again our playlist on Python. So last video I think we have covered about Python syntax and indentation rules. So in this video we will continue our learning, and today we will try to learn about the uh, comment and the docstring and block comment that we have in Python, which help us in creating documentation or proper guidance around the code so that when someone is going through a portion of the code, he can easily be able to relate to the code blocks and instead of trying to run and understand what is happening, he can just read and understand the code. Of course, Python is a very simple or English kind of language, very easy to understand. But there are some situations where you need to mention certain thing within the code blocks, right? Like if you are mentioning a passing mark, so you will mention like how you got that passing mark, because based on the alignment from the business or somewhere you got that value at that instant of time. So you will try to basically have that thing documented in the code as well, so that after 6 months or 12 months, if someone go through that code, he should be able to understand why they have defined that value and if they need to update that value or keep that value as it is. So and there are many other things, like if someone wants to use your code, so at that time also this documentation using comment or docstring helps a lot. So there are multiple benefits, and if you are already working as a coder or a developer, then you might be familiar with this. And even if you are not a coder, but you are a project manager, or you are just starting off, so for a project manager, they don't have to go deep in the code. They don't have to read everything. They can just read the doc string and they can read the comments and try to understand the exact thing that might be happening within the function. And for initial or new developer, they can also understand the functionality that is defined using just those texts or comments. So that's where it's very important, I think, to understand how to write the comments in the code and what are the different ways in which we can write it. So with that, let's get into our VS Code. So here you can see I will be going to cover three different types of commenting method or docstring for documentation while writing our Python code. And first one is like single line, and second is block comment, and third is like using triple quoted docstring. So if even if you are not familiar with these terms, I think let's try to understand it now. And before getting started, here is one quote I have written, that code tells Python what to do. So code is for Python, what things that it needs to do or what the computer needs to execute. But comment is what that helps human to get why that is being done. So it gives that context behind that function or behind that code block. So that's where it's very important. Now, here I have written two blocks of code. First is like without comment. And if you read this, then you will say that there is a condition getting applied over a score, and based on that, we are just printing success or failure. But if you go through the bottom code, you will get a understanding that first it is checking if the score is above the passing threshold. So you got this understanding that 70 is not just a value, but it's the passing score. So anyone who is above this passing score only will be success, or will be will not fail. So that clarity is there. Again, uh, this is like one of the way that I think the inline single line way which we have mentioned. So that is the approach here. So you can see we have created our comment using that single line block. So if I want to write another single line block, so either you can use hash function directly, or there is other way as well. You can just use control plus forward slash. So that will also give the code. So let me write some comments like uh, first the file name. So comment uh, docstring dot ifing, let's say. Then second, I will add another comment that this function is something, and then I will add other comment. My name is Akash. Now these are the comments I have added, multiple lines of comments. So this is what is called code blocks. So block comments, sorry. So when you have multiple blocks of comment, or like when you have multiple single line of comment together, then it becomes a block comment. And there is a way, like I have seen most of the even developer or like people that they are if they have to uncomment this, they are doing like it manually by removing the spaces, and it takes a lot of time to go this way. If you have hundreds of lines, then it will take a really a lot of time. So that is where you can use the shortcut control forward slash again or again. So that way you can just remove and comment it together at any point of time. So even for this function, we can use that. See. So this is a very important shortcut, and anyone and everyone, uh, I think, should use it so that it can save a lot of time. And let's try to write the doc string as well. So doc string is generally written in triple quotes. So you can see like here, and you can write as many lines as possible. This is Akash is working. He lives in Kolkata. And likewise, you can write as many lines as you want, and then you can hit enter and see this got printed as a like text. So what happens is like these has comments is not getting stored anywhere, but this is getting stored as a string. So now when we like execute a function, then uh, it it skips all these comments as well as the doc string, and it only execute the code lines. It does not execute these things, but it saves the doc string in a string format. And this one, it is like not doing anything. It's just skipping the commented lines. So now I hope you got some clarity around what is this different methods in which we can do this commenting or using doxing as well. Now, just try to understand why it's important. So think of it as like you bought a new camera or you bought a new mouse and you want to understand how it functions, how the Bluetooth connects or how you should connect to your laptop, right? So there is a manual which is written, and that you go through that manual to understand, okay, these are the steps I need to follow, and then I will get this final like connection setup. So in a similar way, we try to add those uh, docstring or the comments, especially whenever we are writing a function or classes. And in real time application, you have multiple classes and functions in your code. And at that time, like if someone wants to understand it or someone wants to reuse a kind of class, at that time, that gives a overview or whole picture of that. So, for example, let me just create a function here using docstring. Let's say fetch my dog image, and then I am passing it like this. Okay, and here I will just write pass, save this, and then just call this function. Yeah. So here you need to remove the code from here, and you need to pass this complete in the docstring, and now rerun it. And now if I go over this, you will able to see the image of the dog. See, I think it has taken a very too much image, but let me try with some other image. I have a link. Yeah, let me try with this dragon image. Yeah, now if you go, so you can see the dragon image as well as you can see the comment. So wherever this function is going to be, I can still get that uh, thing here. Now, before going deep in the doc string, let's try to understand what is a good code versus a like good comment versus a bad comment. So here we have seen the example. Yeah, at this place you can see. So here we have the code. Now in this, you can see like what is good code means something that is coming out of the comment, something that is not written already in the code. So if I have written with comment, that clearly shows that all these code blocks are written with some comments. So you can see here is a comment, here is a comment, here is a comment. So in that case, we can say this as a good code, good comment, sorry. Similarly, for this one, check if a score is above passing threshold. So it's saying something which is not written here, right? Passing thresholds, that is giving some visibility around that. So again, this will become a good code. Now this one, print success message. So you can see it's already print success. So anyone and everyone can understand it. So we don't need to add a comment here. So it becomes a bad comment, and similarly this also becomes a bad comment. So hope you got this clarity. What is a good comment and a bad comment? So now let's again focus on this doc string thing. So let's try to create, like, let's try to call the sum function of the Python. So here you can see when I call this function, I can hover over this and I can see the function and the description as well, like what all arguments it can take and what is the output it will generate and what is the summary of this function. So it returns the sum of the start value and like plus and interval of the number. So this is like brief detail about the complete function. Similarly, I can do it for max function of Python as well. I can just hover over it and create this. So similarly, let's try to create one function of our own. So even if you don't know how to create a function for now, it's okay. It's a simple. So we just start with def as a keyword and write our function name. So let's say my function is a name is print my name. So it can be anything. So this is my function name. And then let's say it takes my name as input. So my name, and then I will write the format in which it will take. So since my name will be a string, generally it won't be an integer or decimal. So that's why I've defined that. And then it will return a string as well. So this is happened. And then let's write the function also. So what it will try to do, let's say, let's add the doc string. So again, you can see I'm getting this doc string. So there is extension in Python in VS Code. So here you can go to the extension tab and then you can search this auto doc string and you can activate or install this. So this way you can see the description what it's doing. So you will get every detail related to doc string automatically. You don't have to manually write it. Now when I let me start again. So yeah, now when I hit enter, so you can see it already created this. Now for summary, I can just write like print the name of the person, and it is already defining everything. So name given by the user and description will be return will be like uh, name and a person description. Let's say just like for now, and then we can just return this my name plus person description. And then internally, let's add some comments as well. uh, this function is made in Python. This function is for testing purpose. Okay, now everything is done. Let's try to run this and let's try to call this function here. Print. Here you can see I have run this. And then I need to pass my name, so Akash. Now, once I hover over it, you can see I'm getting the things that I have defined already. Same way that I was getting for Max. So this is how we use the doc string mainly. And yeah, of course, it's getting mostly used in uh, kind of mainly in the Python functions or classes. But yeah, it's good to know. And especially if you just want to add some multiple lines of comment, either you can go with this block comment, or you can also go with this doc string kind of comment like this. So triple dot, add as many values inside this as possible. So there won't be anything. Yeah. So this is how you can also add the comments. Now, yeah. So one more thing. So here, when I will run this function, what are things which will come as the output? So the output will just come this. So let's try to print the output, because it will skip the comments and it will just store the docstring. So which we have already seen when we are hovering over it. So you can see the same thing that we thought it's coming here. So yeah, so now if someone will ask, what is the difference between the comment and the docstring, so I think you will be able to answer that in the interview, right? Because like comment is just single line or a kind of block comment you can do. But doxing is serving a totally different purpose. You can also use it for a comment, but yeah, it's mainly used in defining like what is there inside the function, and so that the developer don't have to go inside and check what is actually written by the initial developer, but they can just read from this and they can use directly that function. So hope that is clear now. Let's try to understand the other thing, like what is the difference between the block comment and docstick. So again, like in block comment also you write multiple lines of a comment, and in docstring also you define like multiple lines of kind of comment you can say. But the difference is docstring you can read, like whenever someone will hover over that function or that class, they will be able to read that. But block comment you can't read. See, I have defined two block comment, but I can't read, right? You can see it's not coming here. So block comment is mainly for, here I have written it, for giving the context or assumptions or the business rules or the reasoning that is there involved while you were building the code. So you can add all those details here. And then doxing, you are already familiar that it is mainly around the function, what this function do, and what is the input output, and how that person will that function is handling the exception. So all those details can be added in the doxing. Yes. So let's try to see one more example here. So here I have given this complete code where I'm trying to measure the temperature, and we have a threshold that when this threshold is crossed, then we will say that the person is having fever, otherwise no fever detected, so don't consult the doctor. So we can run this and it's working fine, right? But if someone will come after a few years, they will not be able to understand completely how it got this value and these values, what are these values. So for that, we have added this doc string as well as the code block and the comment. So it's a mix of all of those, and you can see how beautifully it looks. And let's say if I am putting it inside a fever check Python file, still anyone can be able to understand it. Let's say fever check dot py, and I put this complete code block here. Now you can see first I have given the file name, then what this file is doing, it's based on the WHO threshold. It measures the fever. scenario. And then where it's used is at hospital intake kiosk, phase 2 pilots. So the details are there. Now I am initializing the temperature, which is degree Celsius from thermometer. So it is also telling like temperature in what unit, Fahrenheit, Celsius, or some other unit. And then here we have added what is like who defines this temperature 37.5 degree, and then what is the source of truth for that also. So these information you can't find in the code block, right? So that's why it's important to add this information here in the form of a kind of a comment or uh, block comment. And then we have this final condition applied where it's self-explanatory, so we don't need to add any comment. Now, anyone can use. Yeah, so this is all I wanted to cover. So what all things we have covered, let's revise it once. So we understood the three different methods in which this commenting or docstring works, or we can create documentation in the code basically. And we try to understand what is a good code versus a bad code, and when should we add comment, when should we not add comment. And then we also understood how to use docstring and like where all we can find the docstring in the existing code also, and why it's helpful and where it can be used. And then we also try to understand the difference between comment and docstring, and the block comment and the docstring. And then we also try to combine everything in one and see how that works. So hope things are clearer now, and you will be able to use this uh, different types of documentation method. And again, there is one more thing I forgot to mention. So there is Markdown also if you're working in Jupyter. So this is one other way also to add some comment throughout your code block. So like here I can add this code is for fever check, and then I can keep it as this. So this is just a readable thing. It can't be executed. It's not a Python code. So this way we can add as many markdown as possible, and you can add format as well. So format one, and then you can add format two. So as many classes as you want. So based on that, it will set the heading, like heading one, heading two, like that. So yeah, with this, I think I've covered almost all the things that I wanted to cover in this, mainly related to comments and docstring. So yeah, hope you like this session. In our next video, we will try to cover variables and naming rules. So yeah, with that, I'm going to finish this video. So thank you very much, and like, subscribe, and share this. Thank you. Bye.